This group of friends enjoying a lively party on a beach at night, they lose track of time, completely absorbed in their celebration. Amid the revelry, come across a strange, large object in the sand. Curious and playful, they begin to poke and prod at it, laughing without realizing the potential danger lurking within. Exhausted from the night's excitement, everyone eventually drifts off to sleep in their cars along the beach. As morning breaks, the friends begin to wake one by one. Among them is Marcia, who immediately feels unwell, vomiting and showing signs of distress. At first, the others assume it's just the after effects of the night's partying, but Marcia senses something far more sinister. Nearby, another girl notices a crow perched on the sand, an eerie warning she cannot ignore. Suddenly, the sand beneath her begins to move as if alive, swallowing her foot with a terrifying force. She panics, warning Marcia to keep her feet off the sand, but it's too late. Marcia has already stepped onto the treacherous surface. Desperately, she tries to pull her foot free, but the sand grips her with an unnatural strength, refusing to let go. Using her hands, she struggles to free herself, realizing too late that this is no ordinary beach. Something deadly is lurking just beneath the surface. As Marcia struggles, her hands too become trapped in the sand, and panic sets in. She screams desperately, realizing that if her friends come too close, they could also be pulled in. Confused and terrified, the group has no idea how to react. Seeing Marcia's dire situation, one of her friends bravely steps out of the car to help, despite everyone warning him against it. But as he steps onto the sand, he suddenly loses his footing and falls face first. The sand clings to him instantly, sticking to his skin and causing severe injuries as it seems to fuse with his body. The friends in the car try to start the engine, hoping to pull him to safety, but the car won't start. Another friend atop a nearby tower throws a rope, but in his weakened state, the boy cannot grab it. Horrified, the group watches helplessly as the sand engulfs him completely. Grief and fear wash over the survivors, and they quickly realize that their only chance is to escape before they too are claimed by the deadly sand. Jonah, sitting in the driver's seat, desperately tries the ignition again, but it fails once more. Just then, they notice a seemingly healthy man emerging from a nearby drum, moving carefully over the sand. Everyone shouts at him to stop, fearing that a single misstep could pull him into the treacherous sand, just as it had taken their friend. The seemingly healthy man responds with disbelief, insisting that the group must be joking. Since he had been asleep when the events began, he hadn't witnessed the horrifying incidents with his own eyes. Feeling the threat around him, he starts moving cautiously over the sand. One of the friends, trying to calm the tension, reassures him that help should arrive within the next 2 hours, claiming they had already called for assistance. The man hesitates but seems to accept the explanation. In reality, no one is coming. The group is completely stranded, trapped in the deadly sand. Marcia's friend suddenly recalls that they had all partied on the beach the previous night without any issues. Why had the sand not attacked them then? And where had all the other people gone? They soon realized that those who had been on higher ground or in their cars had avoided being swallowed by the sand, but anyone directly on the beach had been consumed. Meanwhile, the man complains loudly about the scorching sun, prompting one of the friends to throw him some sunscreen, which provides a momentary relief. Their eyes then drift to the broken object they had discovered and damaged the night before. In the darkness of night, its true nature had been concealed, but now, split into pieces, whatever had been trapped inside appears to have emerged. It becomes chillingly clear that this entity, released from the damaged object, is alive within the sand, and it is this force that is now dragging the friends toward a deadly fate. The horror becomes undeniable when Marcia's friend tosses an object onto the sand, only for it to be instantly swallowed, revealing that some kind of creature exists within the sand itself. The group realizes that the entity is not just a hazard, they are facing a living, malevolent force embedded in the sand. Watching the unfolding chaos, Jonah declares that they can't just stand there and wait. They need to take action. He grabs a skateboard and carefully uses it to reach a nearby table. Moving cautiously, he manages to balance himself, but as he approaches the table, the board slips, bringing him dangerously close to the sand. Suddenly, a part of the sand moves violently, brushing against his stomach, and the tension skyrockets. Despite the terrifying contact, Jonah maintains his composure and reaches the table safely, where he finds a bag of snacks. He eats a banana from it, but immediately feels nauseous, noticing painful wounds forming across his stomach. His friends panic at the sight, but Jonah reassures them, insisting that he is okay and telling them to focus on their own safety. safety. He throws drinks toward them to quench their thirst, but then excruciating pain shoots through his stomach and blood begins to seep from the wounds. The friends are horrified and start crying, but Jonah calms them, insisting that they stay strong. Meanwhile, a girl in the car points out that their phones are trapped in the trunk, meaning they must find a way to retrieve them to call for help, adding yet another layer of urgency to their desperate fight for survival. The group faces a new challenge. They need to retrieve their phones from the car's trunk, but no one wants to take the risk of opening it while sitting in the car, fearing the sand below. Finally, one girl volunteers to try. She cautiously approaches the trunk, but it won't budge. Another girl hands her a piece of cloth to prevent her from falling into the sand, yet she still struggles to open it. Jonah's friend gives her a rod to help pry it open, and with some effort, she finally succeeds. However, their relief is short-lived when they notice someone approaching from a distance. The beach supervisor. All eyes turn to him as he moves closer, unaware of the danger. Suddenly, the girl who opened the trunk gets her fingers trapped inside, and the trunk slams shut again, causing her to scream in pain. The others call out to the supervisor, desperately trying to warn him, but he dismisses them, joking about reckless behavior in the younger generation. When he steps out of his vehicle, they are stunned to see that the sand doesn't harm him at all. He first approaches Jonah and is shocked at the injuries on his stomach, trying to comprehend what caused such damage. Then he attempts to help the healthy man stuck in the drum, but quickly realizes that the man's weight makes it almost impossible to lift him. The group now faces the terrifying reality that survival will demand both courage and ingenuity as the sand's threat grows more relentless with every passing moment. Realizing he can't handle the situation alone, the supervisor tells the group that he will call his team shortly to rescue them. He is still confused about what exactly is happening, and Jonah's friend tries to explain that their friend's fingers are trapped in the car trunk. The supervisor approaches but does nothing to help, causing Jonah's friend to scream in panic. When he asks why she is shouting at him, she frantically explains that they are in serious danger, that the sand has already swallowed two of their friends, and that stepping onto it could be fatal. The supervisor arrogantly claims he wasn't on the sand and tells them to come down immediately, but Jonah and the others refuse, knowing perfectly well that moving could cost them their lives. Growing impatient, the supervisor pulls out his gun and drops his keys in the process. Ignoring their warnings, he reaches to pick up his keys, touching the sand, and instantly, the sand seizes his hand. He sprays it with a paper spray, but it has no effect. The sand creature drags away half of his hand, severing it completely. Blood gushes everywhere, and he screams in agony, a chilling warning of the sand's deadly power. From a distance, Jonah's friend grabs the paper spray, hoping it might help them fight the sand creature later. Meanwhile, the supervisor, unaware of the danger, falls into the sand and is quickly swallowed, meeting the same gruesome fate as the others. Observing from the cabin, Jonah's friend realizes why the supervisor survived so far. His sturdy shoes, reinforced with towel-like fibers, had protected him from being fully engulfed. She quickly instructs her companions to throw towels toward her so they can tie them to their feet and escape the deadly sand. As the towels are thrown, the supervisor, attempting to catch them, accidentally falls straight from the cabin into the sand below. Immediately, strange, tentacle-like appendages emerge from the sand, wrapping around his body and seemingly feeding on his blood. Within moments, he succumbs to the creature, just like the others before him. Jonah's friends are horrified by the gruesome scene. The black-haired girl covers her ears and starts crying uncontrollably. Jonah's friend tries to calm her, assuring that everything will be fine. She directs the girl to adjust a grill on the cabin and simultaneously removes another to replace it, then jumps from the cabin straight into the car. As she lands safely, she sternly scolds the black-haired girl, blaming her for causing the situation in the first place. Unaware of the dangers that lay ahead, Jonah's friend and the others focus on freeing the girl whose finger had become stuck in the car's trunk. They manage to pull her hand out successfully, and Jonah's friend wraps a towel around her injured hand to stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, the man trapped inside the drum is in severe pain. His body, wedged tightly inside, begins to swell, and blood starts seeping from him. The sand, sensing the blood, sends out writhing tentacles, realizing a human is nearby, and there's a chance it could attack him next. Back with the girls, they work together to connect grills from the car to a nearby table, creating a path for the black-haired girl to reach Jonah safely. The girl with the injured finger warns Jonah's friend that it's now his turn to move forward, as blood dripping onto the sand could attract the creature and put them all in danger. Jonah's friend carefully makes her way across the path. However, as the girl reaches the end, her cut hand bleeds onto the sand. The sand creature reacts immediately, emerging slightly from beneath the surface. Terrified, the girl loses her balance and falls into the sand, which engulfs her completely. Meanwhile, the man trapped in the drum continues to bleed, drawing the creature's tentacles toward him. The sand starts crawling up the drum, indicating that he is now in imminent danger as the creature prepares to attack. We then see the black-haired girl carefully wrapping cloth around her feet and walking over the sand. To her relief, nothing happens, and she feels a sense of hope and confidence. She makes her way onto the supervisor's car, and even the healthy man watches with optimism. However, he has no idea that the sand's tentacles had already emptied the drum he was trapped in, and the tentacles have now grown large enough to seize his entire body, dragging him into the sand and ending his life. The creature, now massive from consuming so many victims, moves toward the supervisor's car and begins violently shaking it. Meanwhile, the black-haired girl, from falling earlier, loses consciousness due to a head injury. At this point, Jonah's friend is the only one left awake and alert, seeing that the rest are either injured or unconscious. As night falls, the girl regains consciousness around midnight and quickly attempts to rescue Jonah and his friend. As they make their way toward safety, Jonah's friend reaches the car just in time, but the creature's enormous glowing tentacles suddenly slam the car door shut. The tentacles emit an eerie blue light, illuminating the sand creature's terrifying presence. Despite the danger, Jonah's friend refuses to give up. She climbs onto the car, noticing a gas canister lying on top. The creature seizes the canister as well, refusing to let go, escalating the threat and tension even further. Without wasting any time, Jonah's friend grabs another gas canister and quickly spreads gasoline all around the car, some of it even landing on the creature's massive tentacles. She then ignites it, setting the tentacles ablaze. The creature writhes in pain, its strength diminishing as the flames burn through it. Seizing the moment, Jonah's friend rushes into the car and closes the doors, temporarily shielding themselves from the creature. The creature struggles to open the doors, but weakened by the fire, it eventually retreats into the sand, disappearing from sight. Terrified and exhausted, the three survivors spend the night in the car, trying to recover from the ordeal. The next morning, someone knocks on the car window. Looking like a police officer, the stranger prompts Jonah's friend to step out, and to their relief, her feet do not sink into the sand. The black-haired girl also exits the car safely, and both of them rejoice, realizing that the creature had been defeated by the fire the night before. However, their relief is tempered by the tragic discovery that Jonah succumbed to his injuries. A heart-wrenching moment for everyone. In the final shocking twist, we see that the creature is not truly dead. It now roams freely in the ocean, heading straight toward the main city.